We're good?
Yep.
Recording in progress.
Welcome everyone to the workshop meeting of January 13, 2026. We have returned from executive session, and indeed we are now in public session. The first order of business will be to the first hearing of citizens. Excuse me. First order of business is the flag salute. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Now, Mr. LeConte, can you give us the direction on the first hearing of citizens?
Yes, members of the public are now welcome to come up to the microphone to address the Township Committee. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues which are not topics scheduled for public hearings tonight. Those present may step up to the microphone to be heard. If you're watching via Zoom, you may speak during any of the public comment sessions by following the Zoom instructions to raise your hand. Whether in person or online, when you're recognized to speak, please mind the following procedures. Please say your name, spell your last name, and give the name of your street. You do not need to give your street number. All public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Rather than use any of your time answering questions, Township Committee will wait until you finish speaking before responding. There are 2 public comment sessions on tonight's agenda. Each member of the public will be limited to 1 comment of up to 3 minutes during each public comment period. Written comments submitted to the Township Clerk before 3 p.m. today, which we did not receive any, but if we had, they would be read during the public comment sessions. Written comments are subject to the same guidelines as oral comments. Duplicative written comments may be summarized rather than read in full according to guidelines issued by the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services.
Mr. LeConte, is anyone online?
We do not have any hands raised online at this time.
Thank you. Then I will call anyone in the public in the room that wishes to come up and speak to come up now. Well, seeing the mad rush is over and no one coming up, I will now close the first hearing of citizens. And then we will move on to the reports. Mr. Shahadi, might you start us off?
Okay, thank you. It is the first meeting of the year, so we are just ramping some items up, so it's a relatively late agenda. Under administration, for the next meeting, hopefully, we're looking to appoint, rather a resolution, consider a resolution to ratify the appointment of a part-time administrative assistant. That is the position that we had discussed for the fire prevention and engineering and tree permit and that portion of the non-UCC land use office elements. We have found a potential candidate. A letter may be going out tomorrow or the day after with an offer, and so if all goes well, we will have that resolution on the agenda for the following meeting. Any questions or concerns there? Okay. The next one for your consideration would be a resolution to amend the SLEO rates. At the last meeting, I believe in December, we did a resolution to, either the one in December or November, we did a resolution to amend the agreement with the Board of Education. We have an agreement with the Board of Education for the SLEOs, and that agreement has a rate that's set in there for the reimbursement. The rate will be going up. We amended the agreement, but the next step is for us to actually effectuate that by way of a salary resolution. So that's going to be on the agenda. That rate would be $41 an hour per the agreement, consistent with the agreement. Any questions on that? Concerns? Okay. And the other item could either fall under admin or under police, really more so under admin because it is not police, it's more OEM. We're going to need to do a new resolution for the LEMC. That's not listed on here, but the one that we just did at the reorg didn't reflect the ordinance change, and there was another personnel change. So it's just reflecting the slots on the LEMC and correcting the reorg resolution that did that. questions under either of those? Right, moving on.
Well, hold on,
Yes.
remind me, how many SLEOs do we have?
I wanna
And this
say-
would be applicable for all SLEOs,
I'm sorry?
correct?
It would be for
Yeah.
all, because we have class twos and class
Yes.
threes. Off the top of my head, I want to say maybe three SLEOs. I can get you a firm answer on that one.
Yeah, because we're the high school, Southern, because don't we split them? And Lafayette, yeah.
Those are the three schools.
Yes.
Yeah, so we may have maybe four, because they, some of them rotate,
Mhm.
you have a backwards, I want to say three, but it may be four, but I can get you info on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the clerk, we've got an ordinance that we'd like to consider. We talked about this a little bit last year, but because it was towards the end of the year, we didn't have a draft, or rather, we wanted to have some time to review that draft. And then you can't carry that ordinance from introduction late in the year into the following year. We decided we would just revisit that this January. And so you do have a draft before you. It's the same draft, I want to say, right, Nick, Deanna? It was the same draft that we looked at the last time. This is to ensure that we are complying with the state law that requires lead-based paint inspections for certain individuals and creates a mechanism for which those inspections are done and the fees associated with that. The next step after we adopt the ordinance would be to either hire someone to do the inspections as an employee or as a contractor or firm. I have been in touch with entities that do that, and we'll have a proposal for you after we have the ordinance adopted to then consider a contract with that firm to do the lead-based paint inspections. Have any of you had a chance to review the ordinance? You want to have a discussion on that, or is it ready for introduction at the next meeting?
There were a number of ordinances that you supplied. Was that just for background of?
Yeah, so the others were just background, for examples, see
Mhm.
how different towns do them.
Yes.
But we also had our draft of, based
Yes,
off of
yes.
those, our attorneys had.
So you put that together, Tiana, based on all those and?
Correct, although I can't take the credit for it.
All right.
Nick worked on this one. But
Unless
yeah,
it's not
that's
good,
correct.
then he doesn't take.
You
it.
generic, yes, yes.
Children can only get the blame one way.
And if you don't like it.
If you think it's a great one, then yes.
To me, it's pretty straightforward.
And we can go through it if you want, I mean, not necessarily line by line, but we can go through it again if there's any questions. Just, really need to move on. This is also one of those items on the best practices checklist that comes up from the state, and they wanna make sure that we are doing this. So this is something both for health and safety reasons, just from a best practice, something that we need to do.
Anybody have any questions?
Okay, so it will be good for introduction? Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Yes.
The clerk did provide his report. Any questions on the report? No, see none. Moving on, construction of building. We have provided you with a draft of the ordinance, two draft ordinances, I should say. One is, because this clarifies, previously the zoning fee portion of the ordinance was grouped into our codified ordinances along with the construction fees, which is not correct. It should be under land use, because zoning fees are not a construction fee. So, council has prepared two ordinances, one that puts the zoning fee in the land use section, and then, the construction fee ordinance has been revamped based on the spreadsheet and the discussions that we've had. There were a few minor changes based on feedback from the state. There were actually some things that they suggested we include in here as well, to clarify and make it, very specific to what they are seeing in other municipalities that, there are questions about. Again, council did a great job updating it, especially because there were some areas where the language was not as clear to the residents and contractors or even our office. There were new areas since, technology's evolved since the last time this has been updated. And it makes clear for readability, references to different sections as well.
It was quite a list, I mean, it was.
Yes.
Pretty extensive, were there a
Yeah,
lot that
a lot of
were,
work.
how many were added on, if any, or were they all?
Yeah, Jack and Nick worked hard on that for
Yes.
a while, so,
It's almost a complete rewrite.
Yes, that's what, yeah,
yeah,
thank you. It's extensive.
yeah.
But the fees are all consistent with what was discussed previously
Yes,
in workshop
yes,
sessions.
yes,
It's not like
thank
we,
you.
Yeah, based on Jack's, he had previously provided, I wanna say it was an Excel spreadsheet,
Yes.
but it was, yeah, just the fees, yeah.
Any questions on those, or are we good to introduce that at the next meeting?
You good, Mike? I think we're good to introduce.
Okay. If there are any questions that do come up between now and then, though, please let me know, and we can adjust accordingly. Any questions on his report? I do want to point your attention to a portion of his report, because it was the last report of the year. He did provide a very good summary year to date, which is not included on the monthly reports, but this was a full year. I'm sorry, not a year, there's a year-to-date memo for 2025, because the revenue numbers and the permit numbers and inspection numbers, but he did explain why that is, why that this past year was a unusual year, as opposed to 2024, what we've been projecting, because we can't estimate everything that's going to happen in the town, but we did have Fairmont was a large contributor to that anomaly.
Yeah, but the end of the year was much higher than we expected.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it was bad. It was just
Yeah.
that it was.
Well, when you compare it to the year with, bringing, Dixie-Dale online, when there was a big bump.
Yeah,
and
so
I
we've
think
kind of
it was
been
around-
doing a lot of
Yes.
these. There's been a
Yeah.
number of spikes. So, we thought we were gonna be leveling off, and then there was another spike because of Fairmont, and then next year we'll probably level back out unless some crazy thing happens, who knows? But we do expect it to level back out. Okay?
Okay.
Next, we've got, engineering.
Engineering.
The annual local recreation infrastructure grant announcement came out. We are hoping to apply for that grant again. We've been very successful the last couple rounds. Since I've been here, we've been applying for all of our playgrounds. This one, we would apply for the Colony Pool playgrounds to update those, largely in kind, because of, again, the restrictions on the footprint, the structures, the fact that also they're on sand as opposed to mulches in other areas. But we got quotes included in your agenda packet for what a replacement would cost, or look like, and what it would cost. We would request your authorization to submit that grant by way of this resolution. If we were to get that grant, we would revisit it again, a couple months later, as we did with Nash and Mountain View, because at that point you would have to actually award the contract to the vendor. So right now, this is sort of just conceptual for the sake of estimating for the grant, and then later on, we would, if we're successful, award that by resolution as well.
The attachments that were in our package, there's a rendering for the playground, that is more or less.
For 2 playgrounds.
Yeah, that's actually my question. So
Yep.
there's one drawing that's got 3 apparatuses on it,
Do you know which?
but I think only one was specified with like the slide. It's called the booster set for 2 to 5-year-olds.
Yeah, so they're just.
So, yeah, I guess my question is, are we contemplating replacing one structure or more than one structure?
Let me see. I'm trying to pull up, which, are you referring to the 11203?
Yeah, I didn't write the file names down. There was probably like
Okay.
5 different attachments on it, but there is
Yeah.
one drawing where there's 3 different apparatuses
Yeah,
on it.
I could pull them all up, or if you, this point, I'll look at them and I can get
Okay.
back to you later if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We do have time before the resolution, but anyways, it's really just, we're not committing to these, like, we just wanted to get an idea of what the cost would be and would it fit within the scope of the grant, because the max they typically award is $100,000 anyways. So,
Right.
there's time to refine those, but for the sake of the grant, I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're looking at for where.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
And-
long as we could switch out, some of the, that's where I was also at, because there was something showing with, like, hanging up from, one of the, apparatus that was shown, cause I saw the one with 3 or 4
Yes.
things on it.
Mhm.
And I was just so worried on a, kids coming out of the pool and hanging off of something might not be the best option. But as
Yeah.
long as we could switch things out.
Yeah, we could switch those out. This is just for estimating at this point.
Okay.
But we can switch that out later on when we award the contract.
See, would we have to go out to bid, or are these things that are,
These would be under, so depending on who we want to go with. So the vendor that we're using here is the same vendor we used at Mountain View, same one that we used for Nash. We don't have to go out to bid because they're under state contractor co-op. So they don't need the bidding, but you do still have to do the resolution because they would
Right.
be above the bid threshold.
okay, great.
A shot in the dark question, Z. We generously tap into LIRIG, this local recreation improvement grant.
We have been recently, and we have
Yeah.
to contribute a portion of it. There's a 20% match.
And forgive me, I haven't had a chance to pull up the language on it, but is it possible to consider this grant for the Esternay improvements, or is that out of scope? Of the
They
language.
typically wouldn't really approve that type of thing. It's possible, but it all, I would say, ends up being a wash. It's if we do that out of the LRIG, then we're paying for these out of open space. If we pay for this with, playgrounds out of LRIG, then the other ones, it's, one way or the other, there's gonna be a cost.
You tap into the well once a year is what you're saying?
For this one, yeah, it's once a year.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's once a year, and they'll typically only award about 100,000, at most, you see about $100,000, max. So, if we,
Well, do we have playgrounds next year we need to?
these really would be the last ones.
Yeah, I
that
was
we
gonna say, I think
we've-
we're in good shape after,
Exactly.
can we
Pocket it.
punt one?
I'll talk to John, but again, I don't think that this would, I think we've talked about this before with him,
Mhm.
and the Esternay, or the
Yes.
ADA improvements. I don't think they would qualify under this one.
I see, okay.
I think we asked him last
Yeah,
time he was
that's what
here.
I'm saying. I think we did already look into this.
Well, I think he was gonna look at ADA grants or other grants.
Yeah, that was more the.
Yeah.
We looked at both.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did look at both. We've talked about it. I'm pretty sure I talked to him about this in our,
Oh,
one-on-one meetings.
okay. Mhm.
Can I dovetail off that on the yesterday, or we're in engineering, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the construction for Esternay is slated for spring, and that's also a busy time for that field. So I just wanted to be mindful of
Mhm.
managing the interruption to any scheduled activities during
Yeah,
springtime.
it would be after the.
It will,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we talked about, that's just, if anything, we award, and then there's mobilization and all this stuff, so we would time it so it would not be impacting the sports. We did discuss that.
Okay. So realistically then, the work will be ongoing, well, actual construction, trucks rolling will be, like summer then? Is that?
It's all up in the air right now. We still haven't even gone to bid, so, we can adjust all of that as we want.
Understood,
And
okay.
we can set the bid date, we can set the bid opening, we can set the award later, the kickoff. We're not bound to anything, and in our minds, we were not planning on doing it when, the fields were being used.
Dovetailing on that dovetail, on John's report on, specifically to the safe routes to school piece
Yeah.
and timing, and.
For which one?
The first one on Lafayette.
2014,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
We are still having a lot of issues with the contractor getting the documentation that they need to for DOT, so.
Well,
we are
that's the
not-
reason for the holdup, it's
Correct.
not a different type of plan.
Nope, we are
Or when it's
still-
gonna happen.
Nope, we are still waiting on that contractor. What he noted is the contractor working on getting NJDOT approval.
Yes.
That approval is a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
And then other things, so they keep saying, where's the paperwork? Like, we're hounding them, they're hounding them, and we're still waiting on that.
Was that some unanticipated thing? Because when we talked about this in the fall, we were just waiting to schedule it, like everything was done.
Because
and done.
that, we had awarded it, we had our kickoff, with the state, with the contractor. The contractor said, oh, all of this is no problem, I'll have that, no issues, and I'll be able to have this done this quickly and all these things. And then, great, state said, great, we'll send you the checklist of all the things that you need to send us, and it's just been delay after delay after delay. Some things get sent, and then they're incorrect, they need to be corrected, there's just a lot of back and forth, between the state and, the contractor.
Because we also held off on resurfacing spring, knowing that, sidewalks, cause it's pretty bad
Yep.
shape right now, yeah.
So I guess we'll ask that question again
We'll just,
very
yeah,
soon.
We're on it,
I celebrated too soon, I remember we were all high-fiving, I still regret doing that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions under engineering?
Fensky,
Yes.
it mentioned that there were field work was done. Were there any notable findings? that
So the
field work?
field work is just surveying and
Yeah.
flagging and delineation, and then you send that in data to the state, and then the state comes back and just says, okay, these are the new, this is the new delineation. So we're not at the point, it's, the application now with the data is being finalized, so there's nothing really that we can report.
And we're delineating sensitive areas?
That's what it is, yeah, so
Okay.
it's a flood, delineating the flooded areas, the water sensitive areas. Because typically what happens is you're looking at maps, right, from the DEP, but those are just sort of topographical,
Sure.
topographical, maybe based on other things, and then whenever you actually wanna do work in that sensitive area, you have to do the physical surveying and the flagging. And then, I think that, as far as notable findings, just, from conversation with John about it, that, yeah, there were, maybe more wet areas or areas where you would not see that would be wet on a map that are wet in person, things like that, but can't tell you, where and what they look like until that is all prepared and sent to the application, and the state comes back to us with their.
So the state issues the final report
Correct.
of the information that we do.
They're either confirming, typically they're
Okay.
like, yes, you're right, or there's an issue or whatever, and then we get the actual, so we can say this is the delineation.
So again, TBD as far as when that information comes available.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take too long once it's sent to them.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, the last I talked to him is the application is being finalized, and, I don't know if it's been sent yet, or I think last I heard we were just preparing a check to accompany the application, was the last, I heard on our end.
Is that work product, could a copy of that be provided to the committee?
It would,
And-
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it would be,
and,
'cause the
barring
next-
being a gearhead, layman could kind of look at it and.
No,
think,
no,
"Oh,
it
that's
would
good,"
be,
or
because the
super,
next
super
conversation
technical.
will be, what do we wanna
Okay.
do there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
So
that is
in order
perfect.
for us to talk about what we wanna do there, you guys are gonna get the report from
Yes.
John.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Good. I think that's it on engineering.
Okay. Finance, not much to report there, other than, I just wanna make sure, you got the report, for December, for the end of the year. But, what I wanted to just bring to your attention is the budget schedule.
Yes.
So the finance committee will be hearing from me. You will be hearing from me for, budget meetings,
Yes.
to come. The state, issues an LFN, a local finance notice, every year, towards the end of each year, setting the schedule for the following. There are statutory deadlines, and then the
Yeah.
state almost always extends those deadlines. And so, as expected, there was, extensions this year, and so we are hoping to have an introduction of the budget by the end of March. So, finance committee, you will be busy in February and March with me.
Hoping to have an introduction of the budget in March, so
Correct.
that whole presentation where you kind of talk about the drivers and everything, okay. Cause then it said, is it the beginning of April to the state, or the end of
The
April?
adoption is end of April.
End of
End of April, or the next regularly scheduled meeting. They always put that
Yes.
caveat, so we can introduce it, if it doesn't work, I don't know exactly when the March meeting is, the regular meeting. If not, we can always introduce it at the April one, but it does say the next regularly scheduled meeting.
March regular meeting would be the 24th.
Well, we do the intro in the workshop meeting.
actual introduction would be at the regular meeting, but the public presentation would be at the workshop meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, because the introduction requires a resolution.
Yeah.
So, we would take that formal action at the regular meeting, but we'd have the preview and the presentation and discussion on the workshop meeting in March.
Mhm.
Any questions on finance? Okay. Police, just a report. Any questions on the police report? Okay. Public Works, only item would be for your consideration is the appointment of a DPW employee. Today, I believe it was today, the Personnel Committee was copied on the offer of employment. We did finally find a candidate for hire. So if the individual accepts and meets all the conditions, then we will move forward with ratifying that appointment.
Yeah, just a shout out to the team who worked through the holidays, the extra snow that, which I think we all loved and enjoyed, but they did not so much, and they still worked very hard, so.
Yeah, especially kind of a surprise snowstorm. And, I do think it's worth mentioning every once in a while that, for the sake of the public, people are like, oh, I pay taxes, what do I get? We take care of the roads. What DPW does, besides obviously just being out there, when you can put numbers to what they do, maybe it helps the public. And so, in just the dusting of an inch, it takes 43 tons of salt. So, where are your tax dollars going? Pre-wedding, whenever there's really cold temperatures with the potential of icy roadways, wet roadways, hazardous conditions, December 12th took 1,400 gallons of solution. And then, the 13th, when we did have some salting needed for snow, that's another 90 tons. Another 1,400 gallons were used for pre-wedding later, that kind of Christmas week. Another 45 tons of salt, and then another 90 tons of salt I guess it was a Sunday or Saturday, Sunday after Christmas when we got those 3 inches. So and with all these costs going up, that's what your tax dollars are going to pay for.
And New Year's Day, there was salting.
Right. Any questions on the tax collector report? Okay. Tax assessor report? Okay.
You're good?
People keep asking, I do wanna ask this question, and it'll be under tax assessor. They keep asking when the townwide reval,
Right.
when the assessors, that's what the
Coming around?
appraisers are coming around?
Yep. The goal was to start at least the condos, because they wanted, like in the colder weather, they want to do the things that are bunched up closer together. The units are not, all over the place, things covered in snow. It was hoping to be done earlier, late last year, but that got delayed. His last report, at the bottom of his report, he says fieldwork is expected to commence in January 2026.
Okay,
So hopefully this month they'll be doing, like I said, the condos, apartment complexes, that kind of the multi-units first, and then they'll be putting out notice and a schedule for everything else.
okay.
And when that happens, we will be putting that on our website. So if anybody's
Okay.
got a question, just tell them, check the website, the announcement will be on there.
Regen or your blocks.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, cause I wanna push out that information, 'cause
Yeah, and we will too, once it's available. I know we did tell the public in the presentation, when that information is there, we'll put it out. So just refer them to our website, and we'll have a referral from our website to theirs with the schedules of where they'll be and what areas.
great, thank you.
And they will be notified, they will be getting their notification as well, so.
That moves us on to the, everybody's good questions, comments? Okay, moves us on to the second hearing of citizens. Mr. LeConte, do we have anybody online?
No hands raised at this time.
Okay. I will ask those who have been patiently waiting in the public session here to come up, should anybody desire to. Seeing that we are finished with that drive of people, that in fact we can close the second hearing of citizens. And we don't need a second exec.
Are we doing a continuance of exec?
That's what I was gonna ask, if
Yeah,
you
we
wanted
doing
to
it
do
that
another
is-
exec, but we should clarify, just as a note, if we, are we gonna go to?
Microphone?
Are there things that we need to discuss in exec?
There, if
So-
you wanna continue the item before,
Microphone?
but there is.
Microphone?
Yeah, that one should be continuing up.
Okay, so we have other things that we did not complete.
The item
That
from
we
earlier,
didn't get
if
to,
you want
yes.
to continue that conversation, then yes.
You guys wanna go back in?
I think so for a couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
okay,
Just
all right.
as well.
Can I have a motion to move back into executive session?
Yeah.
moved.
I'll
We should,
second.
sorry.
Yes. We will not be taking any action.
Okay, just to add to, because the earlier resolution was just for attorney-client privilege.
Yes.
We should amend this one to also include contract negotiation.
I agree. I was gonna
Yes.
ask you about that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, and
So
I have.
that motion should be a reference to both.
Okay,
We have a motion, do we have a second?
a motion from Craig.
And I'll second.
Mr. Alperowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Choi?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes,
Deputy Mayor
Yes.
McHugh? Motion passes.
thank you.
Recording stopped.